Listen closely, because the financial and logistical landscape of 2026 is going to look nothing like the comfort you are currently enjoying. We are barreling toward a convergence of hyperinflation, supply chain disintegration, and aggressive regulatory strangulation that will make acquiring high-tier hardware nearly impossible. The firearms market is no longer just about ballistics. It is about hard asset preservation. While the masses distract themselves with disposable polymer toys and budget builds that will fail when the round count exceeds 3 digits, the elite are consolidating wealth into platforms that offer unshakable mechanical dominance. You need to understand that selling the wrong firearm in this climate is not just a financial loss. It is a tactical suicide. The list you are about to witness is not a suggestion. It is a mandate for survival and wealth retention. We are purging the mediocre choices of the past and replacing them with the absolute apex predators of the industry. These are the machines that will separate the survivors from the statistics when the supply lines go dark. Number 10. CZ75 SP01 Shadow. The common enthusiast will tell you that the Browning High Power is the king of steel 9mm, but those people are living in a museum. If you want a weapon that actually dominates the modern battle space while retaining the investment value of a classic, you acquire the CZ75 SP01 Shadow. This is the evolution that John Browning's design was begging for but never received. Unlike the vast majority of modern handguns where the slide rides on top of the frame rails, the CZ design nests the slide inside the frame rails. This mechanical nuance drops the bore axis significantly, fundamentally altering the recoil impulse. Instead of a violent muzzle flip, the recoil energy drives straight back into the web of your hand, allowing for follow-up shots that are mechanically faster than human reaction time allows on lesser platforms. From a materials standpoint, the SP01 Shadow is a masterclass in metallurgy. We are talking about a full steel frame with a weight distribution that renders the 9mm cartridge essentially recoilless. The Shadow designation is critical here because it signifies the absence of a firing pin block. While safety nannies clutch their pearls, true operators understand that removing that block results in a trigger reset so short and crisp it feels telepathic. This is not a carry gun for the grocery store run. This is a duty weapon designed for sustained engagements. In the context of the 2026 scarcity, the CZ75 SP01 represents the last of the accessible steel giants before manufacturing costs force companies to switch entirely to polymer cost-cutting measures. The finish is a polycoat that is notoriously difficult to scratch, protecting the carbon steel beneath from the element. Selling this weapon is foolish, because you are trading a machine capable of hundreds of thousands of rounds for paper currency that is losing value by the second. It is the bridge between combat reliability and competitive dominance. Number 9. Sig Sauer P229 Legion. Forget the P226. While it has its history, the P229 Legion is the superior, formidable implementation of the classic SIG double-action, single-action philosophy, optimized for a world where concealment and lethality must coexist. The Legion series is not just a marketing gimmick, it is an overhaul of tolerance stack-ups. The PVD, physical vapor deposition, gray finish, is not paint, it is a molecular bond that provides a lubricity and hardness superior to standard anodizing. When you run this gun dry in a high-friction environment, that finish is the difference between a cycle and a jam. The heart of this weapon is the SRT, the short reset trigger. In a standard DA SA gun, the reset is a mile long. In the Legion, it clicks back into battery with a tactile snap that allows for rapid-fire cadences usually reserved for striker-fired guns. The P229's milled stainless steel slide is heavier and more robust than the stamped carbon steel slides of the 80S and 90S, meaning it can digest a steady diet of +P, plus ammunition that would crack lesser frames. This is a tank condensed into a compact form factor. Furthermore, the secret flaw of the standard SIG lineup has always been the high bore axis. The Legion mitigates this with an undercut trigger guard and an aggressive G10 grip texture that locks the hand higher on the beaver tail. This ergonomic shift changes the physics of the weapon. If you own one, you are holding a piece of engineering that bridges the gap between a concealable asset and a primary fighting handgun. As we approach 2026, the demand for metal-framed, hammer-fired compacts is skyrocketing as shooters realize polymer lacks the soul and the shootability of a tuned SIG. Number 8. HK Mark 23. The HK USP is a fine pistol, but the Mark 23 is a weapon of mass destruction disguised as a handgun. This is the only pistol in history designed explicitly as an offensive handgun weapon system for USSOCM. It does not compromise, It does not care about your small hands. It does not care about concealment. It was built to exceed a service life of 30,000 rounds of plus P ammunition with 0 parts breakage, a standard that modern disposable pistols cannot even dream of approaching. The engineering arrogance required to build a handgun this large is exactly why you must keep it. The barrel utilizes a unique O-ring lockup system. This rubber O-ring near the muzzle centers the barrel inside the slide with consistent tension every single time the action closes, granting this 45 ACP beast the accuracy profile of a match-grade rifle out to 50 yards. Most critics complain about the size, calling it a crew-served handgun, but they miss the point. The mass of the slide, combined with the dual-spring recoil reduction system, turns the recoil of a 45 ACP into a gentle push. It is a suppressor host without equal. The action is so over-engineered that it functions flawlessly even when fouled with the immense carbon buildup of suppressed fire. From an investment standpoint, the Mark 23 is the holy grail of polymer combat pistols. It is the grandfather of the USP, but built to a standard of excess that HK will likely never replicate due to manufacturing costs. In a future where mil-spec comes to mean lowest bidder, possessing a weapon built to the Mark 23's failure is not an option. Standard is the ultimate insurance policy. If you sell this, you aren't just selling a gun, you are selling a piece of military history that functions better than anything on the shelf today. Number 7. Walther PDP Pro SD. The Glock 19 is the Honda Civic of the gun world, reliable, boring, and utterly mediocre until you spend hundreds of dollars fixing it. The Walther PDP Pro SD is what happens when German engineers decide to humiliate the rest of the striker-fired market right out of the box. You do not sell this gun because it possesses the single greatest striker-fired trigger ever mass-produced. The dynamic performance trigger breaks like a glass rod at roughly 4.5 pounds, with a reset so short it frightens people who are used to the mushy, stapler-like feel of a Glock. But the superiority goes deeper than the trigger. The slide serrations are cut deep, designed specifically for positive manipulation, while wearing heavy tactical gloves, or when hands are slick with blood or oil. The grip texture is aggressive, modeled to lock into human skin without being abrasive. Mechanically, the step chamber provides a tighter gas seal, increasing the velocity of the 9mm projectile, while ensuring reliable extraction even with dirty, steel-cased ammunition. This is a weapon built for the 2026 reality, where ammunition quality may degrade. The Pro SD designation means it comes ready for a suppressor and utilizes a magwell that speeds up reloads by 30%. While everyone else is buying a Glock and then spending $800 on aftermarket slides, triggers, and stippling to make it decent, the Walther owner has a superior weapon from day one. As the market floods with cheap striker-fired clones, the Walther PDP stands alone as the premium option. Selling it to buy a project gun is a regression in tactical capability. Number 6. North American Arms Ranger 2. The Lifeguard is a novelty toy that will get you killed. If you need deep concealment that actually functions as a firearm, the North American Arms Ranger 2 is the only viable option. Unlike the standard NAA mini revolvers, which are slow to reload and require removing the cylinder, the Ranger 2 features a break-top action. This 19th century mechanism, modernized with 21st century metallurgy, allows for rapid ejection of spent casings and immediate reloading. It is the gentleman's backup, a piece of jewelry that spits deadly .22 Magnum venom. Do not underestimate the lethality of .22 Magnum out of a short barrel when using modern defensive loads like Hornady Critical Defense. It offers penetration depths that meet FBI standards, unlike the anemic .22 LR of the Lifeguard. The Ranger 2 is built like a Swiss watch, entirely from stainless steel. There is no plastic to crack, no springs to fatigue in a way that renders the gun useless. It can sit in a pocket, submerged in sweat, and lint for 5 years, and it will fire when the hammer is dropped. In an era of surveillance and non-permissive environments, the ability to carry a firearm that effectively disappears is priceless. The Ranger 2 is difficult to manufacture and creates a bottleneck in production, keeping supply perpetually low and resale value astronomically high. It is a niche tool, yes, but in a survival scenario, a gun you actually have on you is infinitely superior to the combat rifle you left at home. This is the ultimate get-off-me gun, and selling it leaves a gap in your defensive strategy that cannot be filled by plastic subcompacts. Number 5. Langdon Tactical Beretta 92 Elite LTT. The standard Beretta 92 FS had a fatal flaw. The open slide design and locking block geometry were prone to cracking under extremely high round counts in the ADS, and the trigger was heavy and gritty. Enter Ernest Langdon. The LTT Elite is not just a Beretta. It is the reconstruction of the platform into a modern marvel. Langdon Tactical takes the classic Italian chassis and completely remachines the internal geometry. The trigger bar is polished and recontoured, the hammer springs are optimized, and the result is a double-action pull that is smoother than a custom revolver in a single action that rivals a 1911. Crucially, the LTT Elite addresses the optic dilemma. Standard Berettas cannot mount red dots low enough to co-witness with iron sights due to the firing pin safety block. The LTT utilizes a proprietary, patented redesign of the slide internals to mount a red dot lower than any other hammer-fired gun on the market. This gives you the reliability of the open slide Beretta design, which ejects brass flawlessly because there is no ejection port to hit, combined with the target acquisition speed of a modern red dot. The 2026 crisis will punish those who rely on batteries alone. The LTT allows for robust backup iron sights that are usable through the optic window. This gun represents the pinnacle of the Wonder 9 era, perfected. It is heavy, yes, but that mass absorbs recoil, making it a flat-shooting laser beam. To sell an LTT is to admit you do not appreciate the nuance of a perfectly tuned mechanical instrument. It is a combat pistol that feels like a competition gun. Number 4. Benelli M4. The Remington 870 is a legend, but in a multi-target engagement, a pump action is a liability. Human error under stress, short-stroking the pump is a death sentence. The Benelli M4 is the solution. This is the shotgun that the U.S. Marine Corps chose when they needed a semi-automatic door kicker that simply would not fail. The secret is the ARGO, auto-regulating gas-operated system. Unlike other semi-autos that get fouled by carbon and require constant cleaning, the M4 uses dual stainless steel self-cleaning pistons located just forward of the receiver. These pistons scrape carbon out of the gas cylinders with every cycle. You can dig this shotgun out of the mud, fire mixed loads of low recoil buckshot and high brass slugs, and it will cycle with the monotony of a metronome. The receiver is anodized aluminum, impervious to the corrosion that eats steel shotguns, like the 870. The barrel is chrome-lined, ready for the harshest steel shot or slugs you can find. In a societal collapse or home defense scenario, the psychological effect of a 1-2 gauge is undeniable, but the capacity to deliver 8 rounds of 0-0 buckshot in under 2 seconds is overwhelming firepower. The Benelli M4 is expensive, often trading nearly 3 to 4 times the price of a pump action, but it holds its value aggressively. It is the gold standard. If you own one, you own the ultimate close quarters dominance tool. Selling it to downgrade to a pump action is a regression in technology and capability. Number 3. Manurhin MR73. The Luger is a fragile antique. If you want a European firearm that retains value and offers unsurpassed lethality, you need the Manurhin MR73. This is the service revolver of the French GIGN, the elite counterterrorism unit. Why would a modern counter-terror unit use a revolver? Because the MR73 is built to withstand a daily training regimen of 150 rounds of full-power 357 Magnum every single day, for years. Most American revolvers would rattle themselves out of timing within a month of that abuse. The barrel of the MR73 is cold hammer-forged, a process usually reserved for high-end rifles, ensuring density and accuracy that is terrifying. The steel used is an ordnance-grade alloy specifically formulated for artillery shells. The trigger mechanism utilizes roller bearings to ensure a double-action pull that is consistent throughout the entire arc of travel, with no stacking or grit. It allows a shooter to stage the trigger for precision shots in double action, a feat impossible with Colts or Smith & Wessons. This is not just a gun, it is an industrial work of art. The bluing is deep, lustrous, and done by hand, taking hours to polish. With the importation of these revolvers being sporadic and the price climbing vertically, the MR73 is blue-chip stock in the form of a firearm. It represents the zenith of revolver technology. In 2026, when mass-produced MIM metal injection molded parts are failing in domestic guns, the forged steel of the Manurhin will still be splitting playing cards at 25 yards. Number 2. Staccato P. The Beretta M904 is an attempt to keep an old dog alive. The Staccato P is the new breed. This is the 2011 platform and double-stack 1911 that has finally been ruggedized for duty use. Over 1,200 law enforcement agencies across the United States have approved the Staccato for duty. And for one reason, it is a cheat code for shooting. The reciprocity of the slide and the single-action trigger allow for split times that are simply unattainable with striker-fired guns. The Staccato P solves the reliability issues that plagued early 2011 race guns. The magazines, once the weak link, are now made of 410 stainless steel and feed reliably in the worst conditions. The grip is a proprietary polymer blend that absorbs vibration, while the frame is billet steel. This hybrid construction creates a recoil impulse that is incredibly flat. When you fire a Staccato, the sights lift and return to the exact same spot almost instantly. But the real value here is the ecosystem. The Staccato P is the gateway to the high-performance world. It holds its value incredibly well because the demand far outstrips the supply. It is the bridge between the reliability of a Glock and the precision of a custom 1911. Selling a Staccato P usually means you are desperate for cash, because there is no tactical reason to downgrade from this platform. It is the current meta for a reason. Number 1. Korth NXS. The Smith & Wesson Model 29 is iconic, but it is crude. If you want the revolver that ends all arguments, the firearm that sits at the absolute summit of mechanical engineering, you look to Korth, specifically the Korth NXS. Made in Lawler, Germany, this is an 8-shot, 357 Magnum that costs as much as a used car, and it is worth every penny. The Korth does not use standard fitting. Every part is ground and lapped to tolerances measured in microns. The cylinder release is located near the hammer, allowing for a faster reload than any American revolver. The barrel is shrouded and tensioned, allowing for barrel swaps if necessary. But the defining feature is the finish and the action. The entire revolver is coated in DLC, diamond-like carbon, a finish so hard that you can scrape a knife across it and the knife will dull before the finish scratches. The trigger action is fully adjustable by the user, from the outside, with a proprietary tool. You can tune the return spring and the mainspring independently. Owning a Korth NXS is a statement that you are done with compromise. It is the ultimate hedge against inflation because its value is derived from thousands of hours of master craftsmanship, not raw materials. In the bleak landscape of 2026, where quality is a forgotten concept, the Korth will stand as a monument to what is possible when cost is no object. Selling this is not a mistake. It is a sin against engineering. You have now been briefed on the hardware that will define the hierarchy of the coming years. These are not merely tools. They are distinct advantages in a game where second place means extinction. While the rest of the world scrambles for mediocrity, you have the blueprint for dominance. Do not let these assets slip through your fingers for quick cash. Secure them, master them, and when the time comes, be ready to use them. Stay vigilant.